Hello everyone, hello my people. I'm so good to have you here, right? So now in this video, I'm going to discuss something that's very dear to my heart. If you look by the side, you're going to see a video playing, and that video was what just happened in Aba, somewhere in Aba in Nigeria. Yeah, and you have a lot to learn from this video, to be honest. Now, I don't know how it happens for every other part of the world, but now I'm talking based on a Nigerian. For instance, if you lost your person, right, and the person is in the morgue, make sure you always visit them. Make sure you visit your people in the morgue. Do you know why I said that? A lot is happening right now, and it's not even good. It's not even something you should even want to hear with your ear. A lot happens. Now, this video you see playing here is a young man that was spied, right? He was unalived by electrocution. He was electrocuted and then he passed on. So when he passed, his family deposited him in this morgue at Aba, somewhere in Abia State, Nigeria. And then they noticed that when they came to take his body for the normal burial rites and all of that, some parts of his body were missing. And they were like, no, 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 this can't be happening. You get, this can't be happening. They started tracing and they found out that the man's private parts and then his tongue and other parts of his body were not in the body. And then they called this man, who is the mortuary attendant, to ask him what happened. And the man had nothing to say. Hey, that's funny, right? The man virtually had nothing to say about this. Normally, in Nigeria, when you keep someone in the mortuary, it's like handing over, your money in the bank, right? In your mind, you believe everything is just safe, everything is just secure there. That is what other people think it is. But for these people to check, it means they've had so many, experiences. And do not forget right now, in Nigeria, human parts are now very, very high in demands. A lot of people go to so many lengths to make sure they get these things for whatever reason it is. They sell them and all of that. I don't know, but that is it. So back to the story. This man was deposited there, and then his body parts missing. And then he asked this man, and the man had nothing to say. And that was why they decided to mob him. Of course, this is very, very annoying. Nobody supports jungle justice, but you know what it means. You get it when you keep your person, your relative, your loved one in the mortuary, and then you come back and it's not the way it is. Yes, we know here the bodies are not well kept, right? But at least the least they will do for you is to make sure that everything, the way you gave them, is intact, right? When you're coming to pick it up. But this time around, it's the other way around. They noticed it, and on top of the private part of the deceased, they also noticed that some parts were being eaten off by something, and that was where they became worried. Now, after really beating the man, of course I'm not in support of that, they decided to have a little interview. Like, come on, this is not even a joke anymore. You really need to tell me what this is. You really need to tell me how. You don't understand. They kept checking it and that thing is not there, and they're like, we don't understand, you must tell us. So waiting happened to him body, you get. And then after so many beatings, because normally the man never wanted to say anything, he wasn't still saying anything relevant. And then they asked the other man in the video, because if you notice there are two, the other man is like his assistant. And then when they asked him, the man said that during the process of embalmment, the private whatever goes inside, which is very, 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 very which is not even true. that during embalmment, that was when they noticed that the chemicals they were using to embalm him, kept pushing the thing inside. Nobody in their right senses will even want to believe that, of course. And then he kept saying, and then he now told them that even up there, that they noticed it, that up there that looks as if he has a wound, that rats, right, rodents, rats in the mortuary ate that place off. They can't tell if it's the rat that has eaten the penis off or anything. Okay, now, if you say it's the rat that ate off the penis, what about the tongue? They kept quiet. They had nothing to say about it. What happened to his tongue? Did the rat also open his mouth and took away his tongue? Because they made sure they opened it very well and there was no tongue in it. What do you have to say about this? And that is where they remain mute, they remain silent, and then these people started dealing with them. But one thing I understand about this is this man, actually the boss, would have actually sold this. You understand? Maybe he would have been in this business for a long time, actually supplying it to people who are like vampires, people who deal with these things for rituals and all of that. Because tell me, what would you be doing with somebody's penis? What would you be doing with it? You get it? And so it's so terrible. It's so bad. And then they decided they're going to hand him over to the police. But we all know how these things work out in Nigeria. They are definitely not going to get justice for someone who has passed away in that manner. They are definitely not even going to even find justice. I want you to watch some parts of the clips in this video and see if you're able, you understand. Even if you're not able, with this explanation that I've made, at least you're going to understand one or two. Listen. How do you even? He deserves it. Still Just summarize. Whenever you're taking your person from the mortuary, right? Make sure to check for everything. Check even down to the fingernails. If possible, when you're dropping the person there, take pictures of everything the way it is. Make sure it's intact and have them for yourself as a proof because things are happening. This is really, really no. Oh my God, this crazy. I can't do this anymore. I hope if you've watched this part, you're going to subscribe, you're gonna follow me. Like I have so many gists for you coming through. So yeah, bye.